not one thing, it's another. I find that to be true.
Very famously, Marvin Gaye said, "Let's get it on." Do you have a fan on in the background?
It's my AC. I'll turn it off.
Oh, cool. Sorry about that. I mean, I want you to stay cool, but...
No, I'll just sweat my fucking dick off.
Nice selfie afterwards. Get some good lighting. Just get out of the gym.
Yeah, but I'll be dickless, because that's how much I was sweating.
Oh, you said you were sweating dicks?
Sweating my dick off.
Sweating your dick off, right.
Yeah. Where there used to be? No, it's not. It's not there anymore, because I sweat so much.
RFK's got to have a cure for that. He'll whip you up something real good.
Oddly enough, the cure is Tylenol.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Nerd Soup. My name is Reuben, joined here today with Aaron, and we are back to review One Battle After Another, the new PTA movie. Really a stacked cast of actors. I won't name them all because we'll talk about them in the review. And before we get into today's review, I want to let you guys know that you can listen to this wherever you get your podcasts across all podcasting platforms. And if you want to check out our Patreon page, we have a lot of fun podcasts going up there as well. We recently did Better Call Saul Season 1. Me and Cam did the first 3 episodes of Peacemaker, and we're gearing up to do the rest of Peacemaker. Last episode was pretty great, and they finally revealed that the alternate dimension takes place in Long Island, so that's fun. And follow us on social medias at Nerd Soup, at Beau Soup, at Nerd Soup Monkey. Aaron, how are you doing today on this fine Saturday morning?
Not too bad, not too bad. Going to see Nate Bargatze later.
Oh, okay. What does he do?
Man. He's a comedian.
Oh. So you're flying to Saudi Arabia?
No, New York.
I thought maybe he was part of that lineup.
No. Why,
that's the guy who did the whole controversial Emmy thing.
Yeah. I saw that and I'm like, gotta see this man live.
Yeah. And this guy's hates children. Oh no, he loves children. He's torturing them, kind of.
It's really funny though. His other specials are really good, so... And he's clean, no cursing, so fun for the whole family.
Take the kids, yeah.
Yeah.
Always reminds me of the American Dad joke when they're hosting a telethon and somebody sneaks in a dirty joke and Steve is like, "Whoa, that's the lazy man's comedy. We don't go blue." And one of his friends goes, "Balls." And Steve starts cracking up. He's like, "Maybe we're working too hard." All right, speaking of working too hard, One Battle After Another, the new film from PTA, got some great reviews. The hype going into it was massive. I had to calm myself down because sometimes I feel like when these movies get overhyped, I'm watching it and expecting it to be my favorite movie of all time. I remember very specifically with Mad Max Fury Road, watching it, loving it, and thinking, that got overhyped. But then the more I watched it, I started to realize, okay, it was justified. But this one was a movie I've been anticipating all year. I think you were as well. It's always fun when we get a new PTA movie. And just to give some quick thoughts on it, I don't know if it's the best movie of the decade, as some people were calling it, but it probably might be it probably will be my favorite movie of this year. And typical PTA, where you're following these characters, these messy characters, trying to navigate these circumstances they find themselves in. But this one was probably his most accessible because it does feel like a nearly 3 hour straight shot of adrenaline. It starts, it doesn't let up, it keeps going from moment after moment. The conspiracy just keeps growing and growing, the paranoia, the tension. It was a wild ride, and there are some sequences, I think, that I was really anticipating, especially when it comes to action sequences, because that's not something PTA typically does in his movies. And in typical PTA style, I didn't expect them to play out in that way, where really good at building tension through some of these action moments. Not as explosive as maybe I expected, but still really good and fun to watch. And also the performances, I think from top to bottom, some of Leo's best work. Sean Penn was unreal, literally like the living manifestation of white supremacy. He was a little white devil, a man possessed throughout this movie. It was funny, the text you sent me last night when you were like, why was he moving like that? And everyone's calling him Vince McMahon. And Benicio del Toro was great too as Sensei. I think that was probably my favorite performance of the movie. He's just so cool, so funny, effortless in this role, like he is with many of the characters he plays, especially this year, leading Phoenician Scheme and now playing the supporting role here. And the newcomer, Chase Infinity, this being her first film role, I mean, talk about a debut. She was great. Being able to hold her own with some of these acting legends, when you have Leo playing your father and Sean Penn playing the main antagonist of your film, talk about being caught between two legendary performers. So the expectations were high, and I think she matched them. And overall, just another PTA banger. This is a guy who I love his films. I think the lowest rated one I have is Hard Eight, and that's a movie that I think is arguably the best debut for a director. And I had a really good time with this.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it too. I think I don't know, we can do the whole ranking later down the line, but I think it's one of his best. Oh yeah, I'll rank them, but not now.
No, that's coming.
Well, that's like the immediate thing. People plugging it into their PTA rankings, seeing where it lines up with the rest of his films. But as of now, only seeing it once, it's definitely in that top tier of his work. And it's just such like you said, for a 2-hour, 45-minute movie or whatever it is, it just moves along. It's paced so well. Like the score complements the movie so well, and it just helps it. Like the dude in front of me was using his phone, and I was like, but like I just saw the time, and I'm like, holy shit, it's been an hour and a half already. I feel like we're just getting started. It's like the same thing with Oppenheimer, where like the score is like just so crucial to the movie, where it complements it so well and complements the pacing, and it really is. I know we like overstate this, but for a 2-hour and 45-minute movie, it feels like an hour and 45 minutes at times.
Yeah, no, it really does. I was with you because I was anticipating one scene in particular that comes in the third act, and when we got there, I was shocked by how quickly the movie went. Like
right from the jump too, he just grabs you in. So it's not like you're waiting to be sucked into the movie. It's not a slow burn. It just hits you right away, and you're kind of on this ride for a while. And there are some sequences that feel like you're actually on a fucking ride. And it is crazy. Like, you want to talk about movies being theme park rides? Like, there was a sequence that felt like I was on a fucking VR roller coaster. And it's just incredibly well done. And he's just so masterful as a director that, I mean, some of these scenes, these setups, the framing, like everything is just on point. And then you go to the performances, which I feel like Leo has been, I saw someone say it's the best he's been in a while, but like, I feel like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was not that not that far ago. And I think he's really good in that. He's always good. So, but I think this is like the perfect role for him, where he gets to play kind of a similar character to, his role in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, where he's just kind of this goofy guy and
past his prime.
Yeah, just washed up. But like some of the funniest sequences and bits throughout this movie that involve him were just so well done.
He's better when he's allowed to be funny. Sorry to cut you off.
No, not a problem at all.
Yeah. No, talk about Tiana Taylor. Holy shit.
Doesn't have a huge role, but like makes a fucking presence and is really fucking good.
No, I've seen some complaints about that they expected her role to be bigger, but that's actually one of my favorite things in movies. When an actor can make such an impression in 15 minutes of screen time, it's like Anthony Hopkins in Silence of the Lambs. No one ever believes that he's in less than 15 minutes of the movie because of the impact he had. And I would say it's a similar performance because, like you mentioned, the way it starts, it's really her energy and passion that gets the ball moving. And the contrast between her demeanor and Leo's is so stark, even though they're both working towards the same goal, but she's just more about it and he's following her lead, a bit more timid, and she's more confident. So it's a great dynamic right off the bat.
I think Sean Penn is probably the favorite right now for supporting actor. Like, he freaks me out in general, but like he really freaked me out in this one. He's just a weird guy.
Yeah, no, I think he's most people think he is a scumbag, but that really works. He was playing it a little too well. People were describing his character, and then someone would respond, okay, enough about Sean Penn. How was the performance?
Just a gross man.
Yes. Yeah, somebody needed to turn up the temperature because he was chattering those teeth. He was chilly.
Just the way he was walking, the way his mouth was moving, his hair.
Dude, when he licked his comb to fix his hair before he went into that meeting, I don't know why I was so repulsed by it.
I smelt that, dude.
It was just, you could smell the plastic and the saliva.
Yeah.
And he did it for so long too. He played it like a fucking harmonica, and then he starts straightening his little hair. No, he was a beast. He was a literal force of nature. It's as if just all of the feelings of hatred and bigotry manifested into one actual person, and he just couldn't control himself. He's pure instinct, pure rage, but he's also just a little fucking twerp. And he's also got some of the funniest bits in the movie, like light spoilers, but when he pulls out the roses and the door doesn't open, and then he just takes out the battering ram. That was hysterical.
Yeah.
Or some of the interview scenes that he did.
And then you mentioned Chase Infinity, just what an opportunity, and what stepping up to the plate with heavy hitters and holding your own, and just really being, it's kind of insane when you think about it, Would you say it was her first role?
Dude, yeah. No, this is her. She was in Presumed Innocent on Apple TV, but this is her first film role. Yeah, being 25 years old, and it felt like she was a veteran.
Yeah, really intense scenes with Leo, really intense scenes with Sean Penn, Regina Hall, established, very good actors, and just, it wasn't noticed. That's the best thing you can say. You just want to notice that she didn't belong on screen with them,
Yeah, no, that's why casting is underrated, because sometimes you see a performer, and obviously the auditions go into it too, but you see a face, you see the way that they carry themselves, and you automatically know this person is a star. And just reading up more about her career, apparently Tyler, the creator, saw her in this trailer and cast her as the lead for one of his music videos. So she's just got that vibe of a star in the making. And this feels like... Oh yeah, no, a lot of people were commenting that her name is like a pension character.
I was gonna say a credit card. I think I definitely have a Chase Infinity card.
For some reason, dude, every time I heard her name, I kept thinking, is that a white rapper? I feel like there's a white rapper named Chase Infinity. But no, she was great. And good casting too in the way that they play with identity in the movie. But yeah, she was great. And I think in the third act, just some incredible acting moments.
Yeah, and the film itself, the themes and everything. I know mostly with some of the movies I like to see that other people didn't like. The criticisms were they really had nothing to say, right? Want to go to warfare or movies like that. Yeah. This movie says a lot, and it's, you gotta respect PTA for really going a lot of the places that he did. And I think that's something where I saw someone comment on it this morning, it already has an A cinema score, which is really surprising considering what this movie's about. I'm sure it's going to be a divisive movie with certain parts, and people will hold certain political beliefs, but I think it's it's one of those things where I honestly don't think it's one of those things where you have to necessarily agree with the politics of the movie or what it's trying to say to enjoy it. I think hopefully people can separate the two. Even if you're not fully on board with some of the things that are going on here, you could still sit back and be like, wow, this movie is still fucking really good. And I don't know how much we can go into that now without spoiling, but it's, especially with recent events, it's interesting timing,
Oh yeah, no, definitely, dude. And I expected it to be politically charged, but not quite as relevant. And taking a book that took place in the 80s and setting it in the modern day, things haven't changed. That the paranoia over the police state, the government going too far in their actions against crime or trying to take out criminal organizations? Do the means justify the ends? And do the ends even exist? And I think that's what this movie is grappling with, where we see this police presence. They're armed to the teeth, and they're not quite sure what they're fighting for. It's all very vague and abstract. And in contrast to the revolutionaries, who are very clear in their goals.
Yeah, and I think it's easy to like clearly point out that, oh, it's anti this and it's whatever. But like, I think if you really sit back and really let the movie settle into you and you're actively thinking about it and where these characters are, I don't think it ever really glamorizes the revolutionaries in a way that are wholly good or this or that, you know. I think it's obviously there are protagonists and you're rooting for them, but it's not glamorized in a way where I think it's fully supporting or telling you that what they're doing is good. I think it's up for the viewer. Like, you can watch this movie and even maybe not necessarily agree with everything they're doing, but that's part of the experience, and it's kind of the conflict in your mind. Maybe you have some of these beliefs and you're like, well, maybe they're going too far, or maybe you're supporting what they're doing and kind of like, this is what's needed to really start a revolution. But then you look at their lifestyles and the way they live and the way they interact and some of the decisions they make, it adds different layers to the characters and to the organization and to what they're doing. And you contrast that with the opposing side, it's kind of like boils down to this one man who is just completely insane, and he's just a madman on a mission. And it's so I want to talk more about this man, because he is probably one of the more interesting characters that I've seen in a while. And just to have him in this setting with this role, with this power, in this position is with basically free reign, is just one of the more horrifying villains in recent years.
Yeah. It's the rogue sheriff in a small town who isn't answering to the U.S. Constitution and shit. He is the law.
Right, and that's the thing too. It's like this man is clearly acting on his own volition, right? It's interesting, because you can argue maybe it would be like if it was played more straight, you know? But since this character is just such a despicable man, it's easier to pick sides, but it would be a more interesting thought experiment, which is not the point of this movie, and I wouldn't have liked to see happen. But if it was played more down the middle, where you have these two opposing sides, but one side not glaringly easier to grab on as a villain, you know, because he is despicable, racist, and bending the rules to get what he wants. It's just an easy, and just like his whole look, you know, you look at that guy, you're like, I'm not fucking with him. There's Leonardo DiCaprio and Tiana Taylor literally right here. Okay, I'm not picking you, Sean Penn, you creepy motherfucker.
Yeah, I don't know if the conflict is necessarily black and white, but the characters themselves are way more complicated than the actual conflict. You know, the desires of Sean Penn's character and the insecurities is what makes him complicated, even though he is such a force for evil. And I think they play with that in a way that's sad and pathetic, but at times also very comedic. Like that one scene he has, well, this is a bit of a spoiler, but it's early in the movie. There's a scene he shares with another character, and he says something that's so out of pocket and shocking, and the camera just focuses on the reaction to what he just said. Yeah. And there are a couple moments throughout this movie where characters are saying things that are incredibly racist or disrespectful. They're so out of pocket that it's funny. Very similar to what you would see. And this is, I think, the most Scorsese PTA has felt in decades, because his 90s movies feel very much inspired by Scorsese and Tarantino. Him and Tarantino being of the same generation, similar ages, kind of trading back and forth. But this felt like something Scorsese would have done in like the early 70s. And I think with, sorry to keep talking, but a quick point that PTA's movies have always focused on characters who are products of their environment. And the characters almost drive the film in a way where you think that they're making up the story as they go, and PTA is kind of just following them along. And I think with a lot of the long shots that we see in this movie, I often criticize filmmakers for using the one take. But for this one, it was used so well because it is this constant tension, constant paranoia, the constant chase. It's like Mad Max mixed with the French Connection, where you have all the conspiracies, but very simple, we're running away from this evil man. So the use of the long shots and following these characters around, as I mentioned, being products of this environment where you have to fight, you were born into it, the revolution was brought to you. You have no choice. This is a fight that you've inherited, and you're dealing with the generational trauma there, what your parents are passing on to you, not just in what you look like and who you are, but what's expected of you because of this environment you've been born into. So I think that he's never endorsed explicitly an ideal in his movies, but he doesn't shy away from these very complicated and messy situations. And I think that's why people are starving for movies that take place in contemporary times, that are politically charged, that aren't shying away from it. And he does that without necessarily endorsing one ideal or another. But I think with good and evil, you can sort of make those choices for yourself. And like to your point about the cinema score being an A, a lot of people will check their biases at the door if the movie is good enough. And we love some anti-establishment conspiracy theory shit too.
Yeah, or until all the people seeing it open weekend are probably big PTA fans and whatnot, and they tell their parents and grandparents, yeah, the movie was really good, and they see it. They're like, oof, I don't know if I like this.
Yeah, they were rooting for Sean Penn the entire time. That's a man of law and order.
Yeah.
He's just trying to keep the peace.
Well, that's what I was kind of saying before. Like, maybe it would have been, and the movie played out perfectly, so it shouldn't have been this. But if it did play out where, like, he is just your standard military representing the whole organization rather than this kind of separate lone psychopath. Although not lone, because there are other people he associates with who are just as corrupt in their ideals, I guess, as he is. But I wonder how that would have worked out. But I'm glad it didn't, because just the role itself and the character that he was able to put on screen is, I think, going to be very memorable.
Well, dude, casting Tony Goldwyn as the go-between between that organization Sean Penn is trying to, and we're going to get into some spoilers here, but him being the go-between for the Christmas Adventurers Club, a brilliant casting, because he's such a recognizable face. Everybody knows him as the sexy president from Scandal, and the chemistry that he has with Kerry Washington, and he seems to be just generally a good guy. So getting that guy with such a clean face, he was almost scarier than Sean Penn. It's like, who's scarier, the monster or the person that brings him to life? So I think his presence in the movie was, Sean Penn is very explicitly evil, but he's that subtle, spooky, shadowy evil behind the curtains. And I think all of those scenes were very funny because of just how ridiculous and committed to the bit that they were. But, kind of spooky. And playing with that idea that Pynchon always has in his novels, and I've read 2 of them now, so I guess I'm the Pynchon expert on this podcast, that at any moment everything could go to shit. So, and all in service of nothing. All these very vague buzzwords, the immigrants are coming through, open borders, trans this, trans that. Essentially manufacturing problems for Sean Penn so that he can prove himself to this organization that is a stand-in for whatever you want, Christian nationalism, the Fourth Reich, whatever. And he's also, like the revolutionaries, he's a product of his environment, a militaristic society that throws money at weapons and guns and tanks. They have all of the resources at their disposal to fight enemies that don't exist. They'll create them. He believes in this cause, a cause for what? Who knows? It's all a justification for power. That's his entire purpose in this movie, to eradicate this child so that he can get a corner office with a nice view in the Christmas Adventurers headquarters. That
group was like cult, I guess you would call it, or secret organization. Freaked me out, man. It sounds like a blast. I would sign up for that. I saw a flyer for Christmas Adventurers Club. Like, hell yeah, I love Christmas. Where are we going? What's the adventure?
Dude, that would get Teddy so quickly. He'd fall into such a bad rabbit hole.
I'll tell him what they got to do. He's like, okay, do we get the presents? Like, when do we get the presents? Okay.
Yeah, I've had my stocking set up for weeks. I haven't seen one candy cane, but okay. Oh, that's
Yeah,
fine.
so far everyone's just being really racist and no one's giving me any like gift cards or
I'm starting to think this isn't about Christmas, guys. And the Hail St. Nicholas was so funny every time. Such a little clever play on words there.
Dude, there's so many. Leo not being able to remember the codes, just so
funny.
fucking funny, man.
It's 8:15, Bob.
Or him looking for the charger too was just, he's so great in that type of role.
I really didn't know who Sensei was yelling at when he told him to get off the phone. I was like, is he yelling at the kid on the stool or is he yelling at Leo? But that sequence was brilliant. And Sensei's character running this dojo, being Willa's sensei and I guess Bob's sensei as well, but also being, steeped in the Hispanic community there, living on top of a convenience store. He's got all of his extended family there, and he controls this underground network, essentially an underground railroad for migrants. So not shying away from the politics of the moment, but I did enjoy the two sides to that character and just how cool he was in every moment. He doesn't miss a step.
Yeah, and another, he's not in it for too long, but the presence he makes is incredible. And
I was so happy when he picked him up from the hospital.
Yeah.
I thought, yeah, Bob and Sensei reunited.
And it's like this kind of, we talked about it with Better Call Saul, where this own it's our world, but it's kind of ramped up a little bit, with the underground societies and the worlds, and not quite John Wick, but a little taste of that, and it still feels so natural to what's built and established within its own universe. And I feel like it's kind of the same thing here, where everybody, the underground tunnels, and everybody knows somebody, and you can get this and you can get out of that, and the society of nuns, and then you had the Christmas society. It just felt very cool, but natural to what was being established on screen. You had the bounty hunters, the crooked military or crooked cops. It just felt like they ramped up kind of the whole underworld aspect of it, which was really enjoyable. Because when you meet him, Benicio del Toro, him just having this kind of sanctuary within the sanctuary city, and escape routes and these tunnel systems, and knowing what to do, and having the connections in the hospital to get him out, just cool. Just felt cool. Sometimes that's all you could say.
I didn't mind the bounty hunter coming in the third act, because he was another spooky guy. Just his demeanor and how he had no words for Sean Penn's character in that moment. He just fucking shoots him in the face. And now he's going after Chase Infinity's character. And that car chase to me is, I think, rivals some of the best car chases. Yeah, and it's the way that it's kind of slow, and it's just going up and down those hilly roads. It's using the hills as corners. That was riveting and heart pounding, dude. And the way that it ends with her, parking the car, realizing he's not going to be able to see it, the crash, the shot. Oh, it was great. And her reaction to Leo's arrival on the scene, just a perfect way to end this whole fucking conspiracy ass movie.
Dude, back to the bounty hunter, when the Christmas Club is talking about the bounty hunter they called, and he's like, yeah, I wouldn't trust him. He's half Native American or whatever. And they're like, yeah. One of them says yeah, not homegrown. That just fucking made me laugh.
That was crazy.
Literally the most homegrown, dude.
I know I'm watching a movie and I'm not supposed to be offended, but that line actually did offend me, and I had to take myself out of it for a bit. I'm like, it's a movie, it's fake.
Dude, the only thing, I don't even think it's a criticism, it's just a decision. Do you think bringing Sean Penn back, I don't know if that was necessarily needed. Maybe there's some other messaging there that I'm kind of not picking up on, but
no, I don't think it was needed at all. You could have just killed him off and that was done with it. Yeah.
Which is cool. That adds to just how fucking creepy his character is. But unless Leo just drives by and it hits him or something, I don't feel like him coming back and then being killed by the racist society really adds anything. other than like cementing that like how cruel they are, but they already put a hit out on him, so like that's already established, you know.
Yeah, I think it's like tripling down on how pathetic he is, that even after they tried to take him out, the first place he goes is to their offices, tries to spin this story. That was actually maybe the funniest line of the movie, when he said he got raped in reverse.
Dude.
And he's like, how does that work?
Well, it's another thing which is so fucking stupid, because like that makes no sense. If that did happen, you just got regular.
Yeah, no, he's like, it's not possible for a woman to rape a man. So it's rape in reverse. They were just so committed to the chauvinism with saying that the native man wasn't homegrown, and even the way his voice when he said that, he's like, you know.
They're like, what do you mean?
Yeah, no, they totally didn't need to do that, but I think that scene and seeing him walking up the hill all bloodied and in that black tight ass shirt was hysterical. So, and PTA doesn't get enough credit for being hilarious, so they totally could have killed him off. And I think that was at first that's how I thought it was going to go, where he's, you know, such a lively presence, and boom, just like that, he's taken out, and that would have been totally fine with me. You know, I found that to be shocking, the way he kind of. That new guy replaces him as the main antagonist for like five minutes.
Just the car crashes in this movie are fucking brutal. There's like 5 of them. And they're all like, remind you, drive safe.
Yeah, drive safe. The one in the beginning when they're trying to get away after the botched robbery, and they're just banging into cars. They don't give a fuck about who they're hitting, and eventually they do crash and get out and run. That one was tense.
I was talking about like Tiana Taylor's character, and I think like for like we talked about in the non-spoiler section, for as little as she is in the movie, not even little, I mean, decent amount. I guess it's just a product of how long the film is. Just the impact of her character on the film and how much it changes. Even your perception of that character changes when she's not even in it for the last 2 hours. You know?
Right. Yeah. And that's honestly what the book did so well.
Yeah, because it's a complex character, because, I mean, she is fucking really cool at times, and then she's kind of despicable at times. And then when you add in the layer of Sean Penn being the father, it kind of reimagines that perspective, especially in the scenes where she is jealous of her child because Bob is, or Bill, what is it? Leo is...
Ghetto Pat
is showing more attention to the child than he is to her, which leads her to kind of grow a disconnect between them and further on her revolutionary parts. Because when you first see it, you find it, you could view it as incredibly selfish to leave your new family to pursue this fight that, you know, at the time isn't really going anywhere. Like you understand to take a step back, but she has a choice, and she chooses her ideals over her family, which is another, like, you could debate that as much as you want, because it is, some people might weigh the importance of one more than the other. But now when you find out that it's not really her daughter, and she's kind of forcing Leo to raise this child and fall in love with this child that's not his, it just adds so much more layers to that character. And then ultimately becoming a rat and basically destroying her organization and killing all her friends, or getting all her friends killed or arrested, you know, to save herself. It just adds layers to this character that you might like this character at the end, you might hate this character at the end, but undoubtedly it's like a really good, important character in this story.
Yeah. So many of her actions is what drives the movie. If she doesn't have that
or
affair,
even deciding to have this affair with Lockjaw, is it the right thing to do in a way? Because he is allowing you to continue with your work and keep your friends out of jail. And if this is what it takes, how about it are you, you know? But is that all? But you can also look at it and be like, that's fucked up to Ghetto Pat, you know? I was going to say, I love how they kept that kind of vague, where like you don't know if he knows that he's doing this, that she is doing this, or if he necessarily knows about his daughter's true parentage.
Right, yeah, because he's never told who Lockjaw is, but when they jump ahead, he knows of Lockjaw and that he's coming for them. and that he was responsible for. And even then, they play with it where did he just lock up Tiana Taylor's character, or was there something more to it? He never really says. And yeah, there are a lot of similarities between the arcs of those two characters when it comes to Tiana Taylor's character and Sean Penn, where they're both fetishizing each other. They're fetishizing the thing that they hate, and they get off on it. And it just goes to show that, you know, you can really believe in one thing, but the propaganda, sometimes it manifests in ways that it's hard for people around you to understand why she would do that. And, you know, you could justify it, as you said, of it keeps him at bay, but eventually it does go all to shit. And then his whole life, he's running away from what they did, and so is she, in a sense, where she does escape and she flees to Mexico. And I think by the end of it, her daughter is reading that letter. She decides to embrace what she's lost and what she should have been loving this entire time, whereas, you know, Sean Penn doubles down on being a white supremacist creep. Yeah, I think when you read that letter, it's very easy to be sympathetic towards her character because of how complicated she is and where she ends off. But you know, she's all gray, and I think that those are always the most fascinating characters. And you could see why someone would love her. You could see why someone would hate her. The thin line between love and hate.
Yeah, where I feel like Leo is more easy. Like, he's just a goofy guy who likes fireworks. It's a more palatable protagonist.
Yeah, exactly.
I think
easy to root
people,
for.
Yeah.
Just the Big Lebowski. Weed dad who loves his daughter, who's a bit overprotective for good reason. Once shit starts all going down and she's worried about Leo, and Regina Hall's character says, "Don't worry, he's been preparing for this."
Dude, when he big dogs her friends.
Anything you do to her, I'm going to do to your entire fucking family. And I do think there's one line in particular early in the movie from Bob that really informs us on who this character is. When she's, you know, first when she's shooting the gun with the big belly, and second when they're around the campfire and she seems to be having a good time still drinking alcohol, and he says it's as if she doesn't know she's pregnant. And I think it's one of those, when we have conversations about free will, what does it really mean? She seems as if she's a character who believed she would always be in this fight, that the idea of having a child never crossed her mind. Even if she is also a very sexual character and she's willing to have these affairs with people that she hates and despises, or she wants to have sex with Ghetto Pat before the bomb explodes. She's a very sexual character, but that doesn't necessarily mean she's a motherly figure and that she feels capable of being a mother to this child. Clearly she didn't. And I think that, you know, that is something that a lot of people can relate to when it comes to parenthood and having a child, when it's not necessarily something you had planned for your life. So being a product of her environment, it makes sense as to why she would run away, that she would just give it all up, that she would give up her friends, because normalcy is not something that's in the cards for her. So if she's going to have to choose one path at the fork in the road, it's going to be the one of betrayal and exile. And that's what makes the final letter so satisfying, that there's a promise of things getting better, because that's what these characters want. You know, it's not like they've turned their backs on each other, and that's a nice sentiment. You made the point about why would you abandon your family to continue this fight that isn't working for you? And it's this idea of community. Maybe you guys aren't going to save the world, but when the world comes after you, you have people to back you up. You have people that are going to stand by your side. And that's what we're seeing. 16 years after this group, some of them were killed, others arrested. They've been disbanded. They come back together to save one of their own. It's that simple. What are they fighting for? They're fighting for the love a father has for his daughter, where the other side is fighting for nothing, essentially. So maybe you don't win the war, but winning those battles, you get to fight another day. And that's what we see in the end, where she does take up this mantle of continuing the revolutionary fight, and Leo's content with that. So yeah, community matters a lot, especially these days. When you feel like you're taking on the world, it's better to have some friends and family, like the Verizon man. I think one of my only disappointments is that, and I like the way he did it, where I think there are a couple ways you can do a good adaptation. With Inherent Vice, I think it's a masterpiece. He was criticized for it being too close to the book, where basically the entire script is from the novel. And in this one, I don't think there's a single line of dialogue lifted from the novel. It's almost as if he plagiarized the source material. If he didn't tell us this was based on Vineland, it came out, people would start putting together the pieces. This is oddly similar to Vineland. And I think that's one of the best ways to do an adaptation, where you take it and truly make it your own, as if you're ripping it off. So it's simultaneously radically different from the novel, yet in spirit, it's exactly the same. I saw some people criticizing it for feeling like one long run-on sentence, and that's quite literally how Pynchon writes. Regina Hall's character is way more important in the book. In the movie, not so much. Although I did think she had a couple of good scenes.
I was reading the Wikipedia. I didn't felt like a whole different thing. The book.
Yeah. No, all the characters have different names. Takes place in the 80s. And the relationship between Tiana Taylor's character and Sean Penn's is more layered, more complicated. It spans a longer time. So yeah, no, there are a lot of key differences. But the father-daughter relationship, the character of Lockjaw coming back after all this time, trying to kidnap their daughter, that's essentially the main plot. Benicio del Toro's character is a reworking of one of the characters from the novel in a way that works perfectly, where the original character is Japanese. So here you have a Puerto Rican man running a karate dojo. So I appreciate that. And my mom does too. She loves Benicio del Toro.
I should say she loves karate.
No, more of a kung fu girl. That was big in their age. Everybody was kung fu fighting. Ho, 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 ho.
You know who was a prick? The other cop or military man.
Oh, who's interviewing the kids?
Yeah. Don't they know, like, I guess it doesn't matter because, like, I guess they don't have rights at this moment, or they do, but they just don't care. No one just calls a lawyer, man. like kids being scared, you know? But literally no one lawyered up.
No, and that one guy broke real quick when they were like, we know where your sister lives.
Like, is that legal? I'll make it legal.
I'll make it legal.
Yeah, it's kind of like a lawless militia at times rather than like what we perceive to be a government agency.
Yeah, no, and the way that they were just casually rounding up migrants was extremely disturbing. It was an afterthought. Just using it as an excuse to infiltrate this group.
Right. That's what they did for pretend, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Imagine what it would be if it wasn't. But like even having the agent in disguise, so the Molotov cocktail to give them a reason to open fire or deploy the tear gas.
The contrast there between Sensei and Lockjaw, what they're doing in this story. Lockjaw rounding up the migrants, he doesn't think twice about it. And it's the same thing with Sensei helping out Bob. He doesn't think twice because he already has these plans in motion to help these migrants, so he can incorporate Bob into a system that he already has. So there are two sides of the same coin here, with Lockjaw representing pure evil and Sensei being more of a humanitarian. But yeah, the crew that Lockjaw is running around with, and his little soldiers, it's a rogue militia, just inventing excuses to act and to use force. And consent from really nobody, because it's that's what's funny in the book is that spoilers for the book, if anybody wants to read it, skip this part. But the story ends because Reagan cancels their funding. And that's how it ends. And Lockjaw just goes home.
Fucking Reagan, man. Well, I guess that's good.
Yeah, no, he was probably using the funding for fucking Star Wars. Yeah, one battle after another. Good movie, man. PTA, the guy really knows how to make a movie. So young, too. Somebody made a joke that 55 and director is like 30.
Yeah. What do you like? It would be interesting how people, because I was wondering, like, I was talking to my parents and they're like, yesterday, like, oh, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm gonna go see a movie. What do you think most people know PTA from? 'Cause I don't know if he's a director that like the common folk know.
No, I don't think he's not as iconic as Scorsese or Tarantino.
Yeah.
I think in terms of being an iconic director, he's probably a step below them.
It's like if they're like, oh, who's that? What did he make? What would be the first thing you say for someone to be like, oh,
There
okay.
Will Be Blood.
Yeah.
There Will Be Blood or Boogie Nights. Because even movies that, my favorite movie, The Master, that's a heavy movie. That's not something I would recommend to the average film fan. If somebody's saying, hey,
Yeah.
I want to explore something a bit more complicated, all right, check out The Master. Even then, they might not like it.
I feel like Magnolia was a big Tom Cruise. That was like peak Tom Cruise,
I know, dude. He recently said he
now
was
peak
upset.
Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise might be peak now, yeah. Or when Top
Yeah.
Gun Maverick came out, that actually may be his true peak.
Yeah, that's
That
crazy.
was crazy,
Bro
bro.
had two
Coming
peaks.
off. Braun had 4, so
That's true.
no, I'll give Tom Cruise 4 peaks because he had a great run in the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s, and then he kind of had the resurgence. I'll give him 4 primes. You got that, TC. You see, PTA is upset. Tom Cruise never asked him to direct Mission Impossible. He's the only one that can get Daniel Day-Lewis in a Mission Impossible movie. Let's make it happen. No, I mean, dude, also has never won an Oscar for Best Director, which is shocking. I'm pretty sure he's never won an Oscar for anything. He's directed
This is gonna be it.
actors. This will probably be it, yeah. But when you think of
if
Phantom Thread is not a widely loved movie by the casual viewer, but film fans, are obsessed with it. That's kind of where he exists.
If Danny wasn't retired, would he have been in this?
Probably, no, I don't think so. I don't know where Daniel Day-Lewis would have fit in this.
Lockjaw?
Could he have done No, Sean Penn's too perfect for that, man.
Yeah.
Short, stocky.
Dude, she's like, yo, why is your shirt so tight? He's like, I'm not gay. That's what you're saying. Nah,
He
bro, I
was
didn't say
jacked
that.
in this movie for no reason.
Yeah, but I mean, it might be his best. Like, it's up there, man.
Yeah, it's tough with PTA, man. It's really tough.
Well, it's also like some people value. I feel like every movie he has, there's like a contingent of people that say this is the best. Well, I feel like Phantom Thread has its own like group that think that's the best movie, and then obviously There Will Be Blood and Boogie Nights, different eras, so different generations of people might have a different favorite movie.
It is shocking how consistently he's pumped out universally acclaimed films. Because even on Letterboxd, dude, I think his lowest rated is Licorice Pizza,
Deservedly so.
and it's at 3.6. Inherent Vice is also 3.6. And I would say those are the two that are usually near the bottom when you're ranking them. But 2 movies that I absolutely love. I mean, Inherent Vice to me might be his 3rd best. But like There Will Be Blood as a 4.5. That's always going to be probably his most famous. And Boogie Nights, Punch Drunk Love, classic Sandler. All the freaks like Phantom Thread, man.
Yeah.
Motherfuckers like getting freaky with that movie.
Yeah, if you say Phantom Thread's your favorite PTA, I know what kind of person you are.
Have you seen the meme of Pamela Anderson telling Liam Neeson, "You're my sick little boy," and people keep saying
No.
Phantom Thread 2018? All right, so how would you rank them?
That's my favorite memory ever in the theater. The movie ended in that Italian couple behind us. You should have seen Star Wars.
That
was
was
no plot.
so funny, man. Yeah, there's no plot in this movie.
What were we saying?
Rank them.
I don't want to rank. I don't know,
All right,
dude.
that's fine.
I'll rank. No, I'll rank. Let's do like top 3. I think it's still There Will Be Blood. I think that's just a perfect movie. This might be too. It's you got to let it sit for you because it's so hard when like you already have these established classics and a new movie comes in that you like right away. It's like, well, I can't possibly think that it's as good as this movie that I've considered the best movie for the past 20 years almost. But sometimes it does happen. It happened with Oppenheimer.
Sometimes it
where
really does.
I instantly knew I'm like, this is his best movie, and argue with the wall. I still haven't seen Magnolia yet because I just get so I click on it, I let the trailer play on the Netflix, and then I see the time, and I'm like, man, it's 9 o'clock. I'm not trying to be up till 1. I need like a good afternoon just to sit down and watch it. I think it might be this. There Will Be Blood and The Master for me. I love The Master.
Yeah, I think I'm with you. I do wonder if I like this better than Inherent Vice, but it's between those four. There Will Be Blood, The Master, Inherent Vice, and this one. And yeah, I hate to leave out Boogie Nights, but The Master and There Will Be Blood are in conversations of greatest movies ever. And shout out to Johnny Greenwood. Just another great score. PTA has actually become king of the needle drops, but like you said, and it's funny because highest to lowest, the score was so heavily criticized for overwhelming a lot of the dramatic moments because it's so intrusive, but this score didn't feel that way at all.
I watched that the other night. It's like I gave it 3 stars. I actually ended up at the end really like having fun with it. But there are times that I'm like, yo, Spike, what's going on here, brother?
The first half is
yeah. But like there are a couple really good fucking scenes in that movie.
Well,
like
once the money drop off happens, I think it's all brilliant from that point on.
Yeah, like in the studio.
Yes.
I thought that was an incredible fucking scene. Or even at the end when they have him rapping in the prison uniform and he has like a music video and Denzel's just vibing to the music. I'm like, this is actually really fucking sick. It's like it just pulled up like a pretty bad movie with just a couple of just incredible scenes.
Yeah, the melodrama of the first half could be hard to get through. But even that, I kind of want to go back and rewatch it and see maybe if I like the first half more. But I'm with you. But for me, it really was just
clunky.
It was a movie of 2 halves. And one thing I didn't love is that they made the kids young adults, because in the original Kurosawa, they are young kids. So I felt like that took away from some of the tension of setting so much of the first half in one setting inside the apartment building where you feel trapped. It's like the killer has you cornered. That to me, him being like 25, which could happen, and it does happen, where adult children are kidnapped and held for ransom. But I think it hurts some of the emotional stakes there. Jeffrey Wright, though, what an actor.
Yeah, it's like 85% on Rotten Tomatoes, 2.9 on Letterboxd.
Yeah. That's one that the casual viewer did not like. Dude, oh my God, the audience ratings are fucking horrific on, I don't even know what website this is. I guess it's just Google. It's got a 2.3. IMDb, it's got a 5.6.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a friend, Mario. Shout out to Mario. He loves Spike Lee, and he hated this. He was like, wow, Spike, I'm embarrassed for you. I was like, damn, I feel bad for you because Spike's your boy. That's always a bad feeling, man, when you love a filmmaker and he disappoints you.
Yeah, I just lie to myself.
People didn't understand men.
You finish the movie. It's like, all right, that was pretty good, right?
You get it? They're passing down the bad traits. You didn't get it.
Well, it's better if like your director is established as a hit or miss. Like if your favorite director is Ridley Scott, but if it's like Scorsese drops a dud.
At this point, he's
Dude,
fucking.
If Scorsese ever drops a dud, like those memes of Celtic Shack. Whew.
Well, motherfuckers would be itching too, because he's made so many enemies out of people on film Twitter because they think he thinks they're stupid, which is a little bit of projecting. But he hasn't missed in quite some time. In fact, he keeps getting better. People are like, man, every movie he makes is just better than the last. I mean, The Irishman truly might be my favorite Scorsese ever. I fucking love that movie. A few years ago, I watched it 4 times and like, yeah, I know. The whole, the de-aging thing, but I'm so over it at this point. I don't give a shit.
Shout out to, he just won a bunch of Emmys for Adolescence.
Oh, yeah, Tony Pro.
Graham. Dude, when he walks into the fucking lunch in Florida, it's so fucking fun.
The little shorts and the cigar. He is truly one of the best actors we have working today, man, because I really didn't know. Yeah, I really didn't know Stephen Graham before The Irishman. I thought this was just some motherfucker from Jersey.
No, he's the most British.
Yeah, he's like as British as it fucking gets, dude.
You gotta watch Adolescence. He's really good in that.
Oh, yeah. I loved him in that.
Oh, you saw it?
Yeah. He's after The Irishman, I ended up, checking out some of his other shit. And there's a movie, This Is England, where he plays a white supremacist who's basically running a cult of these teenagers. And he's amazing in that too, dude. Heartbreaking movie. But him as Tony Pro, man, he doesn't even look British. That's but when you see him outside, like when he was up there on the stage at the Emmys, he looks super British. But in The Irishman, he just doesn't. Was it a show or a movie?
No, Boardwalk Empire.
Oh, that's awesome. Holy shit. I might have to watch that now.
I run into like 10 of him a day.
He's so fucking Italian, dude. It's like finding out Rachel Sennett wasn't Jewish. It was devastating.
Or Mike Tirico wasn't black.
Yo, Mike Tirico's hilarious. Weird guy, but an incredible play-by-play announcer.
Oh, the best.
He's truly up there with some of the GOATs. I like Iron Eagle, too. Some people don't like Iron Eagle.
I'm a big Iron guy.
The Rack Attack.
Noah Eagles, too. I love a good play-by-play guy, man.
Oh, yeah. There's nothing like it, man. They're artists. It's truly an art form. Yeah, no, I think that does it for One Battle After Another. Little PTA ranking, little highest to lowest talk, and some play-by-play admiration. Aaron, thank you so much for joining me on this review. Guys, gals, thanks for listening. Like, share, subscribe. Let us know what you thought about this movie and, rank your PTAs down below. I'm sure there'll be some fun discussions. Aaron, thanks again. As always.
No problem.
Anything fun going on this weekend?
I already told you. Going to see The Funny Man.
Oh, right. Yeah. Yeah, you're going to see Louis C.K. That's fun. I know that's your boy. You stood by him after all these years, and
honestly, that's what I don't even know what he like. I forgot what he did. I don't even know what he did.
Oh, I won't tell you. I know you're a big fan, so I won't spoil it for you.
No, I really liked it. Like, he was fine, I guess, but like during that time, like everybody was just getting fucking popped. I was just like, all right. I think I kind of just assumed the worst and went about my day.
First, they came for Louis C.K. and I didn't speak out. You're going to have to live with that. All right, well, have fun in Riyadh. Hope it's a safe flight. And we'll see you guys very soon. God, I never know which button to fucking press.